Welcome back to day 2. This is RADBMX Builds, and this is the Christmas vlog series. So you should be seeing this video the day after Christmas. Hope you guys had a rad Christmas. I did, and the food's great, the presents are rad, and I'm hoping you're home enjoying your time off, watching this video, and if you are, please subscribe. 2025 is going to be an amazing year, but we're not there yet. I'm going to give you a video every single day up till New Year's. Then we're going to kick off 2025 with some really rad stuff. Every year gets better. 2024 was nuts, but buckle in for the next, 6 more videos counting this one before we hit 2025. Okay, let's get into this video where I'm going to show you or share with you some of my absolute favorite GT bikes. Why GT? Why right now? I'm sure you heard the news about GT. I launched it in a video earlier and talking about the demise, if you will, of the brand. But don't worry, it's happened before. It's had a rebirth. It came back and then goes away and comes back, then goes away. So hopefully someone out there buys it up. I would love to buy up GT. I don't think I have enough money for that. So I'm just going to keep building them the best that I can. And I'm going to show you 2 of the best. I love these bikes so much. And behind me are 2 of my absolute favorites. So let's get into it and show you these 2 very special bikes. Okay, first up is this beautiful 1989 GT Mach One build. I got this bike as a complete bike on eBay, but then did a full restoration build on it, and it's one of my favorite bikes. If you know anything about the Mach One, it's kind of the middle of the road. The bottom end race bike was the Interceptor. Mach One was kind of the more advanced, a few better parts, and then it progresses on to the top of the line Pro Series that the guys that race for Team GT rode. And we'll talk about the Pro Series next, but first up, this absolutely gorgeous 1989 GT Mach One. And I want to show you not just the bike, I'm going to break it down, parts, pieces on this special build. Okay, starting right up top, the GT Amy Collab grips from back in the 80s. They no longer make these, and Amy, if you're watching this, which I hope you are, please bring back this grip. You can find them still on eBay in black, white, every now and then red, but they did come in colors. They're just getting really hard to find. I'd love to see those come back. Then we have some GT circle stamped bars on this bike. And they're in okay condition. There's a little bit of tarnishing on them. They have been polished out. That's about the best it's going to get, I believe. And then I have a polished out GT unstamped stem on it, which is really, really nice. And a Tongi headset with sealed bearings. Now this is Repop, newer headset, but that's okay. A lot of my bikes have Repop parts, as you know. And I used a Diacomp BMX brake cable with a Diacomp Tech 77 brake lever on there. And then as we work our way down, we do have an original decal set on this bike. These are not Repop decals. So you will see a little bit of imperfection in there, but that's okay. They're not Repops. These are OGs. I did go with the GT LP5 tires on this, and everyone's gonna ask like, hey, why don't you use Comp 3s or knobby tires? Honestly, these bikes are kind of for street riding. I'm not going to be racing them on the track or anything like that. And I wanted to use as many GT parts as I could on these bikes. So that kind of made sense to me. These are some of my favorite forks out there. They're stamped on the bottom GT. These bikes come with some really sick forks in that era, and they're probably some of my absolute favorites. And you'll see that theme moving forward. I have probably 5 different bikes with these forks on them because they're really my favorite. And then on these wheels, we have a black high flange jelly bean cutout hub with an A7X style hoop, black nipples, GT valve stem cap in yellow to kind of finish out the wheel set on the bike. Then some really awesome GT dyno pads by Flite. I did not put the stem one on because I didn't want to cover that up. I love the chrome on there. But some Flite pads, the GT Dyno 89 Flite pads look really good. An OG GT seat post clamp and GT seat to round it out, looks really good. And then an OG GT power disc and chainring, and then I used some blue chainring bolts. These are the Repop Power Series cranks with the pork chop stainless hardware on there. And then we did some VP pedals, just some bear traps in black and chrome to kind of round it out. Black and chrome chain, coming back to the dark blue anodized dropout saver on there. The dropouts are already in beautiful condition, and I didn't want anything to happen to them, so I put the dropout saver on there. And then we have a die-comp Nippon style rear brake with the Cool Stop anodized blue brake pads, and a nice little gold end cap on the brake cable for a little finishing touch there. So there it is, the 1989 GT Mach One. Okay, next up is my pride and joy. This is one of my favorite bikes, and if you've been watching for a while, I think you already know that. This is a 1989 GT Pro Series team model. And there's a few things unique about this bike. Honestly, I'm perplexed. If you look at the rear dropouts, these are more 1990, and if you look at the GT stamping on there, it's the newer style stamping. Same as the cutoff that goes vertical with the newer stamping. But then 89 decals and the old style forks, just like the Mach 1. So it's a little bit of a blend, and I wondered why. So I went over and I looked at the serial number on it, which is probably covered right now. Yeah. And it is a September of 1989 serial number. So I think that's the reason, is it's a very late model year, and being that late in the year, I think they were probably starting to use 90 parts, finishing out the 89 lineup is my guess. But it is stamped September 1989, so a 1989 GT Pro Series team model. Now I spared no expense on this build. Let's check it out. Okay, starting right up top, the Amy Unitrons in GT blue and yellow with the Flite GT donuts. Also the same Flite GT dyno pads, the 1989 logo. Die-comp lever, die-comp brake cable, and the GT 4-piece bars with the really cool stamping on the bottom. And then the GT Pro Series dimple stem, all polished out, which is so pretty. These stems are getting really hard to come by, really hard to find, and they're very expensive. And the polishing on that one is just perfect. Work our way down. These are reproduction decals, however. They're not OGs. The OGs were pretty messed up. But when I took off the originals, I did a complete polish of this bike, and the chrome is so good on it. It looks great. You can see the bottom of the forks there, my favorite forks. Blue washers to protect the dropouts. But the forks have the old GT bubble font logo. And I decided to do some polished 48s for wheels and the GT LP5 20 by 1.75 tires, just like the Mach 1. And to finish it off, the GT valve stem cap. Okay, some black and silver bear trap pedals, the GT Power Series polished cranks with the polished out hardware. And then we have a power disc chainring and GT blue chainring bolts and a chrome and black chain. As we work our way back, you have the anodized blue dropout saver on there. And of course, the valve stem cap down there as well. On this bike, I decided to do a blue brake cable end. And on the brakes, it has the really cool old school blue Cool Stop brake pads with the Diacomp Nippon style rear brake. Now you'll notice on the GT Pro Series, the brake bridge is different and it's a little more of a flat oval. So I used black washers to press up against that flat oval so I don't crimp it or crease it. And it just applies a more even flat pressure across that. Because the last thing you want to do is damage these frames by over torquing the rear brake. Now it does have a reconditioned or restored GT seat post clamp and a new GT reproduction seat on it. Okay, my all chrome 89 GT Pro Series team model is probably one of my favorite bikes. And it just looks so good with its matching little brother, the 89 GT Mach One. Together, they are one bad duo, man. They look so good. I need you to comment down below. Which one would you take? I'm sure I know the answer to this, but would you take the Mach One or would you take the Pro Series? To me, it's the Pro Series all day long, but they're inseparable. I can't ever even think of getting rid of these two bikes because why would you? With GT going out of business again, I just feel like hanging on to GTs are the way to go right now. So these will not be for sale. If I ever sell a bike, it will be on RADBMXBUILDS.com, the website only. Now, there are some scammers out there taking my bikes, photos of them, and actually using my logo, a different version of my name, and trying to sell these bikes. Please don't fall for that crap. I don't sell bikes on social media. They only get sold on the website and the website only. So be very careful out there when buying bikes online. Okay, and there you have it, the Mach One and Pro Series, two of my favorite GT bikes. I just wanted to give an overall of those two bikes. I haven't sat down and done that with both of them together. I hope you liked them. I hope you liked those builds because I'm truly in love with them. Seeing them in person, they really are 100 times better. Cameras don't really capture anything the way you truly intend to do that. I hope you're having a great Christmas break. Don't forget to subscribe. Another video coming out tomorrow. Thanks to all of you that watch these, support them. Please leave a comment down below and like the video. And as always, stay rad.